I have a story. So I'm getting here to the gym in the evening, and a guy backed up into my car. He just didn't see me, and by the time I was able to honk, he just backed right into the front of my car. And first reaction, obviously, got a little scared, and we had to get out of the car, and luckily there was really no damage. He was very apologetic. He felt really, really bad, and I was like, hey, it's fine. No pasó nada, and my thoughts went to like, oh no, like not again. I had some issues with my car about 2 weeks ago with some brake system. I had to take it to the dealership, and it was a quick fix. Good thing, good quick fix, expensive but quick. And then about less than a year ago, I actually fainted and crashed on the freeway, and so I wrecked my car, and I had to have it in the shop for 6 months. I didn't have my car for 6 months, so I finally get it back, and these things have happened. And so I can't help to think like, oh man, what's going on. So I did think, oh, I gotta sage my car, and I will. People say like I'm positive. I don't think I'm a positive person. I think I'm pretty realistic, but I do have some delusion. And let me explain. I like to look at things like factually, right? And this is just something that my brain can do. I'm not a deep feeler. I am a deep thinker, not a deep feeler. So I don't automatically react with emotion. I react with thoughts, and my thoughts went to, well, nothing happened. It's fine. And I think a lot of times, and I talk to my clients a lot about this, is that we tend to think like, why is this happening to me? Or, oh, here goes another bad thing. And if I think about all the situations that have happened to my car recently, they've all been like a really good situation, like the best scenario out of the situation, right? Obviously, being pregnant, crashing on the freeway, so many bad things could have happened, and yet there wasn't a scratch on me. The baby was fine, and I had to fix my car. And so these things are just things that happen, and I think sometimes we can get wrapped up in, why is this happening to me, and somewhat of like a victim mentality. And so I wanted to share how going into these negative thoughts or thinking I have bad luck is just not helpful, because then it changes the way that you feel. And so I'll tell you what I felt actually is, so after that happened, I rarely come to the gym in the evening. I just don't have the energy. I like coming in the morning. I wake up, come to the gym, and I'm pretty energetic at that time. And so I was coming like without ganas, and this happened, and of course, like, it gets my adrenaline going, and I'm at the gym, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like I felt strong, I felt focused, and I'm like, oh wow, it's this adrenaline that got me feeling like, just powerful. And I like to look at things like that, like, what positivity can I take from this situation? And so I thought, wow, like, that's exactly what I needed. I needed somebody to bump into my ass to get me going. And that's all that happened. Nothing bad happened. Could it have happened? Yeah, of course. We could have had to, take it to the shop, and more money, and all these things, and or injuries, and accidents happen, and it's never what happens, it's how we respond. And so I wanted to share that, because we got to be intentional with the way we respond. I think I've always been somewhat delusional about things since I was a kid, yet now I do it with intention. And I say delusion just kind of a joke, but it really kind of is. I tend to think I'm the luckiest person in the whole world, or I tend to say that. I don't really believe in luck. I believe in just things that happen. Cars need maintenance, accidents happen. And so again, it's how you respond that really matters. That situation it carries on. It carries on a vibration and energy. And if I choose to see myself like a victim, why is this happening to me? What's wrong with my car? What's wrong with me? Then I carry that with me. And, I choose not to do that. And I think, well, great. Hopefully that little guy is paying more attention. He could have probably caused something bigger, and yet this situation hopefully opens his eyes. I need to start, obviously being a little more I don't know how I could have prevented that, but either way it's going to keep me more alert, and maybe that's what I needed. And so anyway, just wanted to share that with you all and remind you that you have a choice on how you respond. We don't have a choice on what happens to us, but we have a choice on how we respond. Sometimes it takes a little moment, sometimes it takes a little intention. It takes work. I'm not saying this is always easy for me. I can go into dark holes and dark feelings as anyone, but I hate being there, and so I will work to not feel like that, to not be in those thoughts, to not be in that state of mind, because I know it affects me, it affects everyone around us, and it affects my energy, my environment. And so I do intentional energy work on myself, thought work, so I can be in a more happy, bliss, energetic self, and I just go on with my day. So anyway, I hope that was helpful, and I will see you all next time. Bye.